So what's the grape explorer talking about today? So we are actually in Champagne, and this is our first leg of our journey, and we're really excited to be here, and we're with Alexandre Penet,
Hi.
who's actually owns this vineyard. We're in a village called Verzay.
Brazil.
And you can explain a little bit about Verzay if people really don't know this area. As we were driving, there was a lot of hills, and it was quite unique to see Champagne like this with so many kind of beautiful landscape and mountains. But yeah, we wanted to at least Alexander to explain the history of his family. Again, this was a part of our trip that we really wanted to come and get a better understanding of the Champagnes here, and we're so happy that Alexander is joining us here. So, can you give us a brief little history of your family and the Penet family here in Verzay?
Sure, thank you, David. Well, first, let me explain the location here. So, you're in Brazil, you mentioned. You're in the heart of what is an area called La Montagne de Reims, so the mountain of Reims, if you will, where you find the highest elevation point in the region, which is 286 meters high above sea level. So my family has roots that date back from over 400 years ago.
Wow.
In this area, from both my father and my mother's sides, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I took over from my parents about 15 years ago, but my family has been making champagne for a few generations. So I took over 15 years ago after a different career in different industries, but then I obviously came back here, studied winemaking at the University of Reims, and really wanted to focus on the terroir, which was not something very common at the time. But my whole idea was to really produce a wine in the, if you will, in the Burgundy style a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So identify and separate all the particular plots that we have, and come up with even single vineyard champagnes, which was not a big thing 15 years ago. But nowadays people are more and more into the deep knowledge of the terroir. And this style of champagne is really picking up, and we are at the forefront of this kind of champagne.
Yeah, because historically, a lot of people who know Champagne, they see the big names and they see the Vauclicot and the Moët Chandon. This is a smaller property, so you can be more defined on what you do, and,
Right.
and what you're trying to get across to people is that Champagne is not just a celebratory product that you're just opening up and enjoying. This is something that you can have as a gastronomique. You can have it with food. This is something also because of that mineral that we taste is very much like Burgundy, almost like we're tasting like Merceau, or we're tasting really fine white Burgundies, or especially like Pinot Noir. Now this is a dominant grape that's in your area right now, Pinot Noir, which a lot of people really don't maybe have an understanding of having Pinot Noir in Champagne that would make it very, very unique. But some of your champagnes are 100% Pinot Noir based,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is kind of unique in its own style.
So think about it. The Champagne area has over 33,000 hectares of planted vineyards. We only own 6 hectares, so it's a very small production.
Right.
But we are lucky that we are located in one of the best areas for Champagne, a Grand Cru Champagne. Grand Cru Champagnes make up less than 10% of the total production of those 33,000 hectares, so it's a niche in itself. And yes, we tend to grow more Pinot Noir than Chardonnay, about 2/3 Pinot Noir and 1/3 Chardonnay. But the focus is really on expressing the qualities and the minerality of the Pinot Noir grape.
And you don't see too much single vineyard. We had discussed this before earlier, that that's quite unique in what you're trying to do, and to identify a single vineyard parcel that's completely unique to the next parcel, and they all have the names. And you said historically those were names that were already given to because of the soil composition was so unique and different that they would actually designate a name, and you put that on your champagne, which nobody really does.
We just needed somebody to really look after that. So I wanted to investigate on this, and I did some research on the soils, and I studied winemaking. I studied the geology and the characteristics of the plots, and I found that the given plots were giving different expressions in the wines, and that's where I came up with those single vineyard champagnes.
Yeah, and if anybody knows me from my past videos, I'm always talking about terroir, because that is the true essence of wine. When you taste these wines, they're so unique that you'll never taste anything like this. Again, this is the Grape Explorer. We're here in Champagne with Alexandre. Cheers. This has been a wonderful
Cheers,
visit.
David. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.